Welcome, everybody. My name is Amanda Holmes, CEO of Holmes International, and we're about to talk into the 10 actionable items for doubling your sales conversions. I'm going to give you a lot today, so follow with me fast, okay? So Forrester predicts that 1 million sales reps will be out of a job by 2020. How people are buying today is dramatically changing. Just the single fact that people don't want to be sold to anymore. Only 3% of buyers actually trust a sales rep, and just 17% of salespeople think they're pushy, but 50% of buyers would argue that point. So we really got to ask ourselves, how are we selling today, and how can we optimize and systematize for how buyers want to buy? I'll give you an example. The car industry. Buyers used to visit 6 dealerships before purchasing. Today, they visit an average of 13 websites and only 1.8 dealerships before buying. The way people buy is going online and social. So I'm going to cover in the next 30 minutes 10 simple strategies to double your sales conversions. Strategies that have assisted over 200,000 businesses worldwide in every industry. Strategies that my father, Chet Holmes, used to double sales for 9 different divisions for a company of Charlie Munger's. If you're not familiar with him, he is the business partner of Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway. And then how I've used them when I inherited the business at 24 to double our business 2 years in a row. So the good news is it's simple stuff. The hard part is, do you have the pig-headed discipline and determination to be able to follow through? Okay? So I'm going to give you a lot today. Many of you have probably heard of my father's New York Times bestseller, The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's really not about your product or service. It's about the skills that you have. There's a systematized way to double sales. And once he realized that, he created this book, which is still hitting Amazon's bestseller list 7 years after its release. From that book, we created 70 different training products that sell in over 100 countries. We've, like I said, assisted over 200,000 businesses worldwide. And if you want the chapter 4 from that book, you can go to chetholmes.com/CH4. All right. So these methods were used to develop. My father worked with over 60 of the Fortune 500. Some of these you might recognize. And these strategies that I'm about to teach you today come from what he learned in building these empires and what we teach today to all of our clients worldwide. So let's dive right in, because I have 10 actionable items for you to double your sales conversions. Number 1. Are you creating top-of-mind awareness? TOMA. Now, this was typically something that a business would do, a company would do, but today we're seeing salespeople having to do this. When a prospect thinks of buying your product or service or working with you, is the top thing that pops up into their head. When they think, I need to go buy this kind of software, oh, it pops up your name because you have created that top-of-mind awareness. Right? So when you think of a safe car, what do you think of? Volvo, right? When you think of the number one, what gives you a great smile? Colgate. You know, companies in the past have used traditional advertising to be able to create that top-of-mind awareness, but today, salespeople have an unbelievable opportunity to create this top-of-mind. So if 84% of buyers now kick off their buying process with a referral, you can get that referral by creating that awareness online. That's why half of revenue is influenced by social selling in 14 common industries, including computer software, healthcare, marketing, advertising. So many of you say, oh, but I have no idea how to post, what to post. So I'm going to give you 2 great resources or 2 great ideas. The good news is you don't have to create your own original material. A great site that I would highly recommend is called buzzsumo.com. This first bullet point right here, buzzsumo.com. If you go to that website, it has a little search bar. You can type in any keyword that's in your industry. Let's say, because I'm a sales and marketing trainer, I would write sales training. And it would pop up for me all of the different be it a blog, be it a video, be it a white paper, all of these different pieces of content, and it'll show me how viral they've gone. And it'll start with the most viral piece of content. So it'll show LinkedIn shares at 4,000, Twitter shares at this many, Facebook shares at this many. So it gives you content that's already going viral. So your likelihood of sharing something that's of great value to people will increase. So BuzzSumo is a great tool for that. Another thing that I learned from talking to Tom Ziglar, who's the son of Zig Ziglar, they, over the last couple of years, since Zig Ziglar has passed, they've managed to accumulate over 4 million followers on Facebook. And he told me that one of his strategies was, like I'm saying, taking other people's content and posting it on their Facebook wall, and specifically tagging those other authors to get their following to pick up on those posts. So who are influencers in your industry that already have the social following? Can you share their information? Can you share their posts to get some of their followers to follow you? It's a great tool on Instagram as well if you use hashtags. Followers seem to, every time I post on Instagram and then put a hashtag of sales or marketing, I always get just a couple of followers. And the more that you do that, the more you see followers come. So, number 2, do you have a best buyer strategy? Now, here's a great quote. You should write this down or take a picture. Pardon me. There's always a smaller number of best buyers than there are all buyers. That means that marketing and selling to them is cheaper than marketing and selling to all buyers. So here's a good example of that. So my father made his big break working for Charlie Munger, as I said, and he had gotten a list of 2,200 potential advertisers in his market. It was a newspaper at the time, or a magazine at the time. So instead of going after 2,200 potential prospects, he did some research and he realized that 95% of all the advertising in the market was purchased by only 167 of those 2,200. So to make things a little bit easier, he led an intensive effort to go after those 167, what we call dream clients, or your best buyers. And at the time, he was doing cold calling once a week and direct mail twice a month, and just making sure that it was perpetually the same day, same time for 6 weeks, 6 months. Well, here was his results. After the first 4 months, he had not gotten one sale. Now, being the sales extraordinaire that he was hired to be, people started to talk in the office. What is this guy? Can he do anything? But luckily, things changed. By the 6th month, he landed the largest contract that industry had ever seen. And subsequently after that, closed 28 more clients and doubled their sales in 6 months. Now, would you stop there? I mean, how many of you honestly would go after that dream buyer and do a strategy like this, knowing that for the first 4 months you wouldn't get anything? Would you keep going? Would you have the tenacity? It's something that we call pig-headed discipline and determination, PhD. Well, he systematized it, as we teach, systematizing, and they continue to go after their dream clients and doubled sales 3 years in a row. So you can get to anyone if you're determined. And I'm going to teach you some of the things that you can learn about getting the attention of those best buyers. Okay? So all it takes to work with your best buyers is pig-headed discipline and determination. Here's a great one. So let's fast forward to a couple years now. That story was about 25 years old. So now, me learning about the best buyer strategy, I went to Twitter. I really don't use Twitter as something where I increase my followers so much. I use it more as a networking tool. So I look for my best buyers on Twitter, and then I find clever ways to get their attention. Like, for instance, Ryan Deiss. He's the CEO of a pretty large company, but one of his subsidiary companies, which I love, is Digital Marketer. So I took one of his quotes. If there is not a sustainable market for your product and service, all the time you invest in building your business is a complete waste of time. You're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, so to speak. So I put that on a little picture of a, sinking Titanic ship, and I tweeted it to him, and within the hour, I heard back from him. And later on, I found out that he took that meme, brought it to his team, and said, why aren't we doing cool things like this? And a year and a half later, we started working together on many different routes. But that's how I got in the door, was a tweet using a meme. Another example, my first conversation with Clay Collins, CEO of Lead Pages. It was the fastest growing company in Minnesota. Last year, they've hit the Inc. 500 a couple years now. So I reached out to him and said, in April, my virtual event will be reaching 5 million entrepreneurs. Would love to talk about an opportunity for you. Got 20 minutes. Wrote back same day, absolutely, what would be the next step. So if I tried to cold call, if I tried direct mail, these things would have been so hard to get a hold of him. I believe he's in the millennial age bracket too. So then 10 months later, I'm speaking on stage at Converted at his trade show. So it's pretty amazing what you can do opening a door just to Twitter. So how can you get the attention of your best buyers? All right. If you fail at this, it will be because you gave up. The longest relationship that I've seen with the most pig-headed discipline was my father going after one of his partners for 17 years. Granted, that partner generated an 8-figure business, so it was worth it in the end. Okay? So number 3, are you educating your buyers to preempt your competition? Because this is another thing that's changing about buyers today. We're seeing an average of 4 touches before a prospect even thinks to talk to a sales rep. So that's, they've gone to a blog on the website, they've downloaded a white paper, they've listened to a webinar, whatever it may be. But you as a salesperson now have the role of using this kind of content, be it on your LinkedIn page, posting an article, on your Facebook page, posting in your news feed. So let me give you a really great piece that you should always have to educate your buyers. See, majority of buyers are not very well educated on your product or service. They really don't know what it takes to hire somebody that's a great choice for them. So why don't you educate them, okay? The 7 things you need to know when hiring a company like mine. Whatever it is, be it business coaching, be it, a tool that improves your productivity. If you come from a place of teaching and you educate them, and while you're educating them, number 1, you need to make sure that when you're hiring a business coach, you want to make sure that they have had at least 10 years of experience. 10 years of experience. Number 2, you also want to make sure that they have great success stories, because so many business coaches out there today are just becoming a business coach without showing, making their stripes known. So what can you do to teach about how they should be buying that sets you up apart from your competition, where you know that maybe business coaches aren't normally in the field as long as your coaches are, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay? You following me here? The 7 things you need to know when hiring a company like mine. And this is an article that you can put on your LinkedIn page, right? So if they're looking at you, if you're prospecting on LinkedIn, that's a great way to brand yourself. Number 4, how quickly are you responding to web leads? And I got this beautiful stat from the wonderful Ken Krogh. 71% of leads aren't followed up from a website. Oh my goodness. So you finally, after all of the posts, after all of the advertising, after all of the marketing, you finally get that lead, and yet 71% of them are not followed up on. And your sales are most likely to increase by 22 times if you respond within 5 minutes. Wow. As Ken Krogh always used to say, I loved it. So you mean I just have to reply quickly and return people's calls? So I'm a big fan of Inside Sales tool, the Power Dialer. If any of you have opted into anything on their website, the reason why they respond back to you in T-2 seconds is because of their Power Dialer tool. But I also heard that they have a new tool called the Playbook. you can go to insidesales.com/playbook. I guess it's an improved version of the power dialer that allows you to be anywhere, getting updates from your phone as well as your laptop. So, and I guess it's just version 2.0. So I highly recommend checking that out if you don't have a great strategy for following up with leads from your website. Or there's also automating the process when you get a lead so that you're immediately asking them to book and schedule their appointment. So what can you do to add that into your process? How can you automate a flow that has multiple email strands and brings them through a whole nurture campaign? Okay? Which leads me to number 5, schedule your appointments as soon as possible. So you guys have probably heard of timetrader.com. I just recently signed up for calendly.com. That one is free and I've been really liking it. So a couple weeks back, I went on Facebook and it was a Wednesday morning and I just thought, you know, I like this Calendly thing. I wouldn't have to schedule any of my appointments. Let me just post that I'm going to give a 20-minute session to anybody that needs help with their business and, you know, just schedule by going to calendly.com and here's my Calendly link. And I'm telling you, within a couple of hours, I posted once Wednesday morning and I had 3 days back-to-back meetings with about 30 different companies. And by the 3rd day, I had a 5-figure contract and a check in the mail by Monday. So one post on social gave me 30 appointments and I didn't have to do anything. I looked at my calendar and a couple hours later, I was completely booked for 3 days straight. And here's another example. So one of the people that I did the session with posted not too long after that saying, wow, I really loved this session with her. You guys should check this out. And a referral came through. He suggested to somebody else that they try it. And that ended up being one of my many clients that I got from that campaign. And this was very last minute. Wednesday morning, I decided to do it. By Friday, I had my first new client. So I highly recommend calendly.com. That's really great. Scheduling your appointments as automated as possible. Okay? So why do 8% of salespeople get 80% of the sales? How many of you are sales training experts and know this stat? Why do 8% of salespeople get 80% of the sales? Because they follow through at least 5 times or more. 44% of salespeople give up after 1 no. 22% of salespeople give after 2 no's. So really, there's 80% of sales occur after 5 no's, and yet only 8% of salespeople actually go after a prospect enough times to get that yes. So naturally, the next couple will be about follow-up. So number 6, following up after your first appointment. Can you follow up with a text? High touch is everything today. If you can engage over text message, you've got yourself one of the most accessible mediums. I even found this stat. 91% of people say their smartphone was more important to them than deodorant. So where is everybody's attention today? On their cell phone. Can you get that text message in and make sure that after you've had that first appointment, you're not sending them an email, you're sending them a text message. Okay? Number 7, can you use video in your follow-ups? I thought this was brilliant. I had had a meeting with somebody and they sent me a video through email and I saw on the screenshot that it had my name in the video. Now, little did I know that they use this tool called Powtoon, powtoon.com, and it's super simple, very easy, takes only a couple of seconds to change out the name, but you create a little video that says, hey, thanks for meeting, I had a great time, looking forward to the next one, but it has their name in it. How much more likely are you to open an email if you know that somebody has created a video specifically for you? That is pretty spectacular. Pretty spectacular, especially if you're sending it through a text. And this tool makes it super easy and simple for you. You can also record a video on your phone. Hey, so-and-so, Bob, it was great meeting with you. I loved what you said about your daughter. You know, in our next meeting, I have something to tell you about my niece that you'll find funny. You know, make it personal as well, okay? Number 8, use hidden tools to track your prospects' activity. Ooh, I love this one. So There are tools out there now where you can track what's going on with your prospects. So let's say that someone's gone dark or dormant. I signed up for HubSpot's free CRM. I haven't seen any other CRMs do it, so maybe they do. But I signed up just to get their tracking, their email tracking. So when I sent an email, and let's say a prospect's gone dark, it'll give me an update saying, hey, this prospect just opened an email that you sent, and it happened to be the proposal that I sent, 2 weeks ago. And as soon as I got that update, I send them a text right away because I know that they're actually opening that email. It's real time. So when I know that they're opening that email, I send them a text or I call them right as they're looking at that email, or follow up with a second email. Hey, is there anything I can do? Because sometimes when you're in the dark, you don't know when to follow up or how to follow up. But if you know that they just opened your email, it gives you a lot better chance of getting them on the phone or communicating with them through text or social, wherever it may be. So HubSpot's free CRM gives that tool in your email capabilities to know when they've opened your emails. Another tool that I really love to improve your closing rate is this tool called Proposify.biz. So it's a proposal tool that when you send out your proposals, it can actually track how much time your prospects have spent on which pages and how many times they've gone to those pages. So wouldn't you like to know or get in the head of your prospect of, where they're spending their most time? You always want to know, well, what do they like and what do they don't like? So if you know that they've hit one page more than another, supposedly according to their metrics, they say that your closing ratio can significantly increase by having these metrics. So Proposify.biz, I highly recommend them. I think that that's very cool. Number 9, repetition is the mother of all skill. So you've gone through this sales summit, you've learned something spectacular, so your training improves. Maybe a week later, you kind of forget half of what you learned, and so your skill goes down a bit. But some of that skill remains until you take another conference or you attend another webinar or you read another white paper. So there's another kind of training and your skill improves. So it keeps improving until your skill gets stronger and stronger. And that's truly what it means to be a master, right? Doing that 10,000 trials. So it's the same thing in business. And we've seen that when sessions are repeated over time, skill becomes habitual. So wouldn't you like you and all of your team to know exactly how to do a follow-up, to know exactly how to create that top of mind, to know exactly how to get a referral? And I will show you a good example of this. And we've seen that adding a coach, studies show your productivity increases by up to 88%, right? Holding you accountable to make sure that you repeat that information over time. So here's an example of that. This is one of our clients. They were a doctor's office and they had 2 different offices under one owner. Now we gave them both the same referral strategy. And like I said, they were both from the same owner. And yet Office A increased their sales by 16% and Office B increased their sales by 42%. Now, what do you think is the difference between Office A and Office B? What made the difference? What made a 61% increase in sales between Office A and Office B? Same referral strategy. Well, I'll tell you right now that Office A trained on that referral strategy once, Office B trained on that same referral strategy 4 times, and it increased their sales by 61% over Office A. Pretty spectacular, right? So, just to show it works, here's a quote from one of our clients. My CHI coach, Dr. Todd Eller, has helped me increase my business over 100%. And we see results like that all the time because it's really about that repetition. But the good news is it's not about doing a million things, ladies and gentlemen. Mastery isn't about doing 4,000 things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times. So do you know what those 12 things are? Do you know how to prioritize? Do you know how to build them into your schedule and follow up like a sheer genius master? That's what we're here to assist you with, and that's what we've been able to do for clients around the world. So it should be no surprise that companies with the highest focus on training and development enjoy 21% income increase per employee, 24% profit margin increase, a 37% higher productivity rate, and 65% of employees say that training and development positively affect their attitude about their job. And yet, 41% of Americans didn't receive any skills training on the job in the past 2 years. So I'm going to give you a piece of free training for you today for visiting the State of Sales Summit. It's a video, it's actually 3 videos on how to get the impossible appointment. My father, Chet Holmes, landed 60 of the Fortune 500 as clients using this exact strategy, and it is brilliant. All you have to do is go to howtodoublesales.com, very easy, howtodoublesales.com, and you can get that free gift. So what we've covered today is how to create top-of-mind awareness, right, TOMA, just by using content that's already out there and repurposing it. Number 2, the fastest, least expensive way to double sales is that strategy I taught you, the best buyer strategy, right? There's always a smaller amount of ideal clients, better clients than there are all clients. Number 3, giving prospects education to preempt your competition, because you know on average your prospects are having 4 touches before they even speak to a salesperson. So what are you giving them to train them about why they need to buy from you? Number 4, speed is power. Increase your likelihood of closing by 22 times just by responding within 5 minutes of a web lead. Okay. Number 5, automating your appointment setting to book the meeting as soon as possible. And you got to see that little campaign that I ran on Facebook just a couple weeks back. Number 6, 80% of sales are made after the 5th follow-up, so follow up using text messaging. As you learned, 91% of people care more about their phone than deodorant. Okay. Number 7, following up using personalized videos. High touch. How can you engage them? How can you get them to open your emails, open your text messages? Be that bright spot in their day where you're creative and you're doing something fun that will engage them. Because we know that you're 40% of the way to a sale if you build rapport. Building rapport means they trust you, they like you, they respect you. Number 8, use hidden tools to track your prospects' activity. Find out if they've opened your emails. Find out what they're looking at on your proposal. There's special tools to assist you with that, okay? Number 9, repetition is the mother of all skill, right? We had the 2 doctors' offices, and the 61% increase came from the one that trained on the same referral strategy 4 times. So what are you doing to repeat the strategies that you need to see that doubling in conversions? And 10, train, 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 because we know that it makes everything better. So to redeem your free training, just go to howtodoublesales.com. It has been such a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, and on to your next session.